Formula One is a sport that never stands still. On the track, the cars are a blur of speed and technology. Off the track, the rulebook is in a constant state of evolution. Every single year, the officials look for ways to make the racing better. They want it to be safer, fairer, and more exciting for the millions of fans watching around the globe. Sometimes these changes are small tweaks. Other times they are massive overhauls that redefine what a Formula One car even is. The 2025 season sits somewhere in the middle. It is a year of important but not revolutionary adjustments. Think of it as a bridge season. It's a year to refine the current generation of cars before everything changes in 2026. These upcoming rule changes for 2025 touch upon several key areas of the sport. They address the weight of the cars and the drivers, a critical factor in performance. They introduce new technology aimed directly at driver well-being inside the cockpit. The rules also tighten the leash on how much testing teams can do, aiming to keep the competition close and the costs under control. It is a year focused on refinement and safety. These adjustments are designed to solve some of the lingering issues from the current era of regulations. They will make the cars safer and the drivers more comfortable, all while ensuring the playing field remains as level as possible for all 10 teams on the grid. The context for these changes is crucial to understanding their purpose. We are currently in the final stages of the ground effect aerodynamic era that began in 2022. These cars have been spectacular, allowing for closer racing by cleaning up the turbulent air, or dirty air, that streams off the back of a car. Likewise, the complex V6 turbo hybrid power units, which have been the beating heart of Formula One since 2014, are on their farewell tour. The 2025 season is the last dance for this specific combination of engine and aero philosophy. The changes we see are therefore not about reinventing the wheel, but about polishing it to perfection before it gets put away for good. So while the world eagerly awaits the massive regulation shift of 2026, the 2025 season is far from a throwaway year. It presents its own unique set of challenges and opportunities for the teams and drivers. The engineers in the factories have to adapt to these new constraints. The drivers will have to get used to the subtle differences in how their cars feel and operate. For the fans, it is a chance to see the ultimate evolution of this era of Formula One cars. It is the final, most optimized version of a rule set that has given us some incredible racing moments. Let's dive into exactly what is changing. One of the most significant changes for 2025 is an increase in the minimum weight of the car. The combined weight of the car, without fuel, and the driver will now be 800 kilograms. This is a slight increase from the previous 798 kilograms. While 2 kilograms might not sound like a lot, in a sport measured in thousandths of a second, every single gram matters. The engineers are always fighting a battle against weight. A lighter car is a faster car. It accelerates more quickly, changes direction more nimbly, and is easier on its tires. This increase forces teams to recalibrate their designs, ensuring their cars still hit that target without sacrificing performance elsewhere. Alongside the car's weight, the minimum weight for the driver has also been adjusted. The new regulations raise the minimum driver weight, including their helmet and race suit, to 82 kilograms. This is an increase from the previous 80 kilograms. This rule is incredibly important for driver health and fairness. In the past, taller and heavier drivers were at a natural disadvantage. They often had to resort to extreme diets to keep their weight down, which was not healthy. By raising the minimum driver weight, the sport reduces the pressure on the drivers. It allows them to maintain a healthier and more sustainable physical condition throughout the demanding race calendar. The way this works is quite simple. If a driver and their gear weigh less than the 82 kilogram minimum, ballast must be added inside the cockpit to make up the difference. This ballast must be placed in a specific, designated area. This ensures that lighter drivers do not gain an advantage by having the freedom to place that extra weight wherever they want in the car for better balance. It levels the playing field, meaning that a driver's natural physique is less of a factor in their competitiveness. Success should be about talent and skill, not about who can lose the most weight. This change is a positive step for driver well-being. Ultimately, these weight adjustments are about balance. The increase in the car's overall minimum weight acknowledges that new safety features and technologies often add mass. It gives teams a slightly more realistic target to hit. The increase in the driver's minimum weight is a direct move to protect the athletes. It promotes fairness and ensures that the physical toll of the sport is not unnecessarily amplified by the pressure to be unnaturally light. It is a small but meaningful change that prioritizes the human element in this highly technical sport, ensuring drivers can focus on what they do best, racing on the absolute limit. A brand new regulation for 2025 is the introduction of a mandatory driver cooling system. This is a direct response to some of the extreme conditions drivers have faced in recent years. Races in hot and humid climates like those in Qatar or Miami have pushed drivers to the absolute limits of their physical endurance. We have seen drivers suffering from severe heat exhaustion and dehydration, which is a major safety concern. A driver who is physically compromised is not able to perform at their best and can be a danger to themselves and others. This new system is designed to prevent such situations from ever happening again. The system itself is a clever piece of engineering. It will essentially be a small, scoop-like device that can be fitted to the car. Its function is to collect air from the airflow around the car and channel it directly into the cockpit. This will provide a steady stream of fresh, cooling air to the driver throughout the race. The key here is that its use is optional from the team's perspective during a race, but the car must be designed to accommodate it. A team can choose to fit it for races where extreme heat is expected. It is a proactive safety measure, giving teams a tool to manage the cockpit environment and protect their drivers. The implementation of this cooling system highlights a growing focus on the human factor in Formula One. For a long time, the driver was seen simply as one component of the car. The priority was always on making the car faster, sometimes at the expense of driver comfort. However, the sport now recognizes that a comfortable and healthy driver is a faster and safer driver. Dehydration and heat stress can severely impair cognitive function, reaction times, and physical strength. By mandating the provision for a cooling system, the FIA is ensuring that driver well-being is no longer an afterthought, but a fundamental part of the car's design. Another small but related rule change involves the car's skid blocks, which are planks of wood-like material on the underside of the car. For 2025, there are new regulations about the fasteners used to attach these blocks. This may seem incredibly minor, but it relates to safety. The skid blocks wear down as they scrape the track surface, and if they become detached, they can create a serious hazard. By standardizing and strengthening the fasteners, the rules reduce the risk of these parts coming loose during a race. It is another example of a small preventative change that enhances the overall safety of the sport for everyone on the track. To maintain a level playing field and control costs, Formula One places strict limits on how much testing teams can do. For 2025, the rules around testing older cars are being tightened. Teams will now be prohibited from testing any car that was built to the regulations from the preceding 2 years. This means that during the 2025 season, they cannot run a 2024 or a 2023 car on a track. This prevents wealthy teams from gaining an unfair advantage by running extensive private test programs with relatively recent machinery. It forces all teams to rely more on their simulation tools and the limited official test sessions. This restriction is particularly important as we head towards the massive rule change in 2026. Without this rule, teams could potentially use a 2024 car to test new concepts or components that might be relevant for their 2026 designs. By closing this loophole, the FIA ensures that development for the new era of cars starts from a more equal footing for all competitors. It keeps the focus on the current season and prevents a resource-draining arms race from starting too early. This rule is all about competitive balance, ensuring that a team's success is down to ingenuity and efficiency, not just the size of their budget. As mentioned earlier, 2025 marks the end of an era for two key technical pillars of the sport. It is the final season for the current V6 turbo hybrid power units, which have been in use since 2014. These engines are marvels of efficiency and power, but a new, more sustainable generation of power units is on the horizon for 2026. Similarly, this is the last year for the current ground effect aerodynamic regulations that were introduced in 2022. These rules brought back a design philosophy that has largely succeeded in allowing cars to follow each other more closely, leading to more exciting wheel-to-wheel racing. In summary, the 2025 regulations are a collection of thoughtful refinements. They are not designed to shake up the order but to improve the sport. The increased weight limits promote driver health and fairness. The mandatory cooling system is a vital step forward for driver safety in extreme conditions. The tightened testing restrictions help ensure competitive balance. These changes, combined with the farewell tour for the current engines and aero rules, make 2025 a fascinating transitional season. It is the final chapter of this book, and while we are all excited for the next one in 2026, this last page promises to be a compelling read.